All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to post this to Twitter and then we can start with the unboxing. This is the Waizowl OGM Cloud. It's a clone of the Steel Series Sensei. And yeah, I've been looking forward to getting it. And UPS just dropped it off a few minutes ago. So you guys are going to open it with me and we'll see if it's any good. So let me just post this real quick and then we'll get started. Almost done. All right, I got that posted, and we'll just wait for a couple of people to come in. Hey there, welcome to the unboxing. Just waiting for a couple more minutes, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I hope everyone had a good Christmas and got everything they wanted. I've got a couple more things coming in soon, so I should have some more unboxings. And then plus, I'm also working on my roundup of all the good mice for 2023. I think I'm going to do 40 mice. So that should be interesting. It's a lot of filming, a lot of editing, but it should be a pretty thorough video. I wanted to cover a lot of the mice that I didn't get to this year, and there are a lot of them are worthy of covering, and some of them really didn't get hardly covered at all. So it should be an interesting video, but I've got a little bit more work to do on it. All right, well, I guess we'll just go ahead and get started. Those other people, if they're late, they can always just watch the replay. So I don't know if it's supposed to have a security um, sticker on it, but sometimes these people they cherry pick the mice, so that one didn't have any a sticker on it. The shape's really nice. I never actually tried the Steel Series Senseis, but it's very nice for like an aggressive claw. Someone described the buttons as feeling hollow, but I don't really feel that. And the side buttons aren't as clicky as I like. They're a little hollow sounding, but they're not bad. The pre and post travel is good. The scroll wheel, it's decent. It's nice and smooth. It does have some steps of tactile feeling, and click wise, it's nice and spammable. Let's take a look at the feet. I'm glad they at least used the blue film because sometimes it's hard to tell because some mice actually don't have any film on them, and then when you see the clear ones, you're like not sure. Oh, they feel pretty good. This is a glass pad. I'll pull out a cloth pad and see how it works. And let's see on the bottom, we just got a DPI button and this a mode button. So I don't know if that's uh for the polling rate. Probably is. I think yeah, PR polling rate. Yeah. So it looks like you can set the polling rate on the mouse without the software. So that's always a bonus. And I'm sure in the box there's probably some destructions. Well, let's see what else we got in here. Hopefully they give us a 4K dongle. Looks like they did because right there's the 4K dongle. It's a nice and clean one as far as 4K dongles go. I like that. And you still do get a 1K dongle with an adapter, and then not the greatest USB-C cable, but it's not the worst either. Let's see what else we got. Got some. These are decent feeling grips. Kind of would have liked a different color though to contrast with the red, maybe black or something. And got an extra set of skates, and as you can see, it has these corner skates. And if you want the fuller skates, that'll give you a little bit of a slower glide. So that's nice they include that. And then manual, and hope it's not all in Chinese. Yeah, there we go. There is English instructions. Sensors 3395. It's supposed to weigh 55 grams plus or minus 2, and we'll put it on the scale here in a minute. The size is 126 millimeters by 57 by 38. And I'm not sure about the switches if they're optical or mechanical. Oh, I'll have to look that up. But it does have a Nordic MCU. Let's see. Yeah. So you can set the polling rate. Red is 125, green's 250, blue's 500, purple's 1,000, blue, well, cyan, it's a different color blue, is uh, 2,000, and yellow is 4,000 polling rate. All right, let's go ahead and plug it in, and then we'll set the polling rate and DPI. And I guess we'll find out if this thing's paired with the 4K dongle. It may not be. Looks like it does have some RGB on the bottom. Yep, and um it is paired. As you can see, I'm changing the polling rate. It changes it on the dongle also. And the DPI right there, you can see the light. There we go. That's probably like 14 or 1600. And those colors don't exactly match what they were saying. Let me double check that. Oh, where the heck is yellow? Okay, there we go, yellow. All right, so now we're on 4,000 hertz pulling. In theory, if you have an OGM Pro, I believe if you get one of these, you can also pair it with the original OGM Pro. Uh, right there. Well, this is not the very first one. They came out with this color a little while after release. They do have that's the original one right there. No difference other than just the clear um, outer shell. And like I said, I believe this works with it. It may take a firmware update in order for it to work with that. Now, as far as build quality, uh, the Waizowl mice have always been really built sturdy. There's little to no flex on this thing, and it definitely feels very light compared to their first mouse. And let's go ahead and weigh it. Okay, so yeah, this is 57.3 grams. So definitely the +2 on the weight because it said 55 ±2. So I guess we'll find out what other people get, but it still feels pretty light to me for a mouse this size, which is a decent sized mouse. Like I don't think you could really fingertip this mouse. You could palm it for sure. It's a bigger size mouse. And you presume that I got the mouse sent and no keyboard, unlike Boardsy. Yeah. Well, I don't know if that was intentional, but I didn't even know they had a Waizowl keyboard. But I would have been happy with both. But I'm actually probably ask for that. But um, I know a couple of people already got the mouse too. And that ±2 grams, that's pretty standard. I've seen some of them. I can't remember who it was, but somebody actually gave a ±10 grams, which is insane. That means that you're really lacking on quality control if it's really that far up or down. Yeah, looks wise, it's a very nice, cool looking mouse, and the coating is similar but different. Some people describe the original one as kind of like a starburst coating, and then the coating on this version is much better. In fact, I mean all three of them feel different, but it feels like a very premium coating to me. Uh, I'm not always crazy about these skates that kind of stick up and they don't really. I like it when they're a little bit more rounded towards the edges. I always think they're going to get caught on something. Uh, well, I don't have a Steel Series Sensei, but that's what I was told this is like. I'm trying to see what other mouse I might have that's Similar. Let's see. Hold on. I would say this Gitopper G2 mouse might be the closest thing I have to it, but it's up. It goes up a little higher, and it's just a hair shorter, but it feels similar inside the hands. It's just like a slightly smaller version of it that has a higher front. This might be the closest that I have to this mouse, but I definitely prefer this over the Gitopper, which has it's actually a pretty decent mouse, except for the side buttons are just as you can see they're super narrow. It's like the fatal flaw of this mouse. That and it doesn't support 4K. Donut skates, yeah, I actually need to order some of those donut skates. I haven't gotten around to it, but I will order some and check them out. Yeah, I mean, I have 19 by 10 centimeter hands, and I wouldn't say this is too big, but it's definitely on the bigger side of things for me. If there was a mini version of this, I think I'd definitely like it more. But this would be a nice overall mouse if you like work and play, kind of a productivity mouse that's also good at gaming. And I believe it's also going to come in other colors besides that, but I don't recall. Yeah, I mean, 57 for grams for a mouse this size feels pretty light though. It's also very sturdy, so like I don't have any worry that this thing is gonna break on someone or start creaking. Okay, that's good. I didn't know the Sensei was big, but it is a bigger mouse for sure. Yeah, the color I kind of like the little logo right there on the side too. I'll have to definitely do some gaming with it, and I really like the look of their dongle and the RGB on the bottom giving a letting you know what it's set to. It's nice and simple. You know, there's no need for a screen like some of the other ones have. Just the color. You just gotta figure out what they mean. Since there's no standard, this color means this. And the funny thing is I've been putting a lot of time into the Keychron M4. So after using this mouse for a while and then going to this, it feels ginormous. Just like this felt really small at first, but you give it a go, and after a while, you get used to it. And I also do have the Beast Mini uh, on the way, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's definitely going to be one of my favorite mice, I think. But yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty solid mouse. I don't know what I don't remember what the price is, but I know Waizowl tends to be a little higher on the price, so um, I think they think of themselves as more like some of the more premier brands. I know that's what they're trying to become, so I think if they're a little ahead of themselves, they should probably. I would recommend lowering their prices just a little bit until they make a more of a name for themselves. But so far, they've had two pretty solid products. I mean, they're nothing that's like world breaking, just nice solid products. The Pro Max, yeah. Hold on. Yeah, I've been using the Vaxi R1 Pro Max, and I mean, it's basically a you know an X2 V2, and if you have an X2 V2, it's slightly better. You know, the coating's better on the Pulsar, but they're very similar, and then the Pulsar's twice as much. So if I had to recommend one over the other, if you're just considering price, uh, then the R1 Pro Max is a better deal. But this is a slightly better mouse in my opinion. And it does have optical sensors where this is still mechanical, but some people prefer mechanical. And as you can see, you can use the same skates on either one of them. So the one handy thing is if you don't like these skates, and they're really about the same, honestly, but the third party skates, there's tons for the X2, so you can use them on the R on any of the R1s. So uh, you buy an R1 and you got already third party skates right out the box. Yeah, I think some of these the entry level R1 SE, which I also have, um, you I've seen somebody. I think they said they got it for $25. I believe I paid 34 for mine, um, and they say that it's a rebranded 3335, but I don't know. I can't tell the difference between that uh, and this barely. The only time I can tell the difference is when I turn the 4K polling up. This feels a little smoother. So I would probably just get the regular R1 because it's like $3 more expensive, and then for sure you have a full 3395 instead of the 3395 SE if you don't care about 4K. And then I also have I have that R1 and the R1 Pro coming. For some reason, they just weren't able to fulfill my order, so um, I'm still waiting on those to show up. But it's the R1 Pro is basically this mouse is a slightly smaller battery, and it weighs a few grams less, really. Uh, I wouldn't say VXC, which is VGN, has better QC than Pulsar. Um, they're very similar, but I personally have never had any issues with any of my Pulsar mice. But at the same time, um, the vast majority of them have been sent to me for review. So, I don't recall if sometimes, a lot of the times, like I said, they cherry pick the mice that you're sent. Um, most, half the time they don't. So I don't recall on Pulsar if those boxes were sealed or not. But I've never had any issues with a Pulsar mouse. I know other people have, um, but to me, it just feels a little better in the hand. Like the coating is definitely to me, this is a little more grippy. So maybe if you have sweaty hands, it might be better than the Pulsar mouse. But it feels a little nicer in my hands, a little more premium. Well, yeah. Now the other thing that you have to consider too is if something is wrong with this, like good luck trying to return it, and if you do, it's probably going to take a long time. So you definitely taking a risk anytime you buy something like off AliExpress, which I do all the time. Um, but you have to factor that in. If if that's the only money you have, you might end up getting stuck with a lemon. But at the same time, you didn't pay that much for it, so it might be worth the risk. It just depends. Um, Trying to think if I've had any mice off of AliExpress that were bad. Honestly, I think I've only returned two mice, and one was a G Wolves mouse that I bought off of Amazon, and something else also off of Amazon, and I was able to return those. So I've had incredible luck with all the mice that I bought off of AliExpress, and I think it's just that luck. And VGN definitely has QC issues on the first batches, so I think if you anything you get now, if you haven't ordered one, is going to be that part of that second batch. And they usually clean things up really fast. They also make a lot of changes really quick because um, they're right there where the factory is. So they can pivot a lot quicker than most American companies and make changes. And that's why we ended up getting the F1 MOBA just like a month, I think, after the regular Dragonflies. And they kind of hinted that there'll be some other version of the R1. I don't know what it's going to be called, but oh, that's great that they refunded the Ajaz. Thing about Ajaz too is they do sell on Amazon, so and they've been around a long time. So I'm they're a little bit more trustworthy, I'd say. So I mean that's great that you're able to get a refund. Now I do have also have the 139 Pro and the 139 Pro 4K, and both of those were just fine. But I did hear a bunch of people complaining about like a lot of defective AJ 199s. Uh, I know the mouse that I've had some issues with was the Attack Shark, the X3, and the only issue I've had with them is the adhesive on the skates. I bought two copies, and both of them just came right off. So, I mean, the skates sucked to begin with, so I was gonna replace them anyways. So I do recommend that mouse if you like that shape. It's and you can get it cheap, but I recommend getting some dot skates or at least some dot skates, and just replace them right off the bat. I believe you're right. Uh, that Ajaz is a sub of Epomega. I think they also have some Ajaz brand keyboards, and I know that there's some. I have some Ajaz keyboard switches. They're like these sliced fruit switches. They're actually pretty nice. I've got like three different versions of it, but they've definitely been around a long time. But I do know that the 139 um, and the 199 were actually made by a different company than they usually. I think they usually use a different manufacturer or they manufacture themselves. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure who they're using. But it's the same manufacturer that like Attack Shark is using and a couple other brands, like the Attack Shark X6, which is it's actually also very similar to this mouse, but it has a really terrible. I showed it last stream. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. This is the X6. Now it does have the DPI button on the front, but what makes this really weird is these ridges right here. They can collect what I'm afraid of, and I haven't used enough to tell, but it can collect debris in there and end up affecting your glide. And it is a bit heavier than the R1, but I think I paid $34 with it, and it comes with a charging dock. It only supports 1K polling, but it's not a bad mouse. It just the bottom concerns me. But this is the same company that you know that makes I believe that makes Ajaz mice all the 139 and the 133. And then there's an Ajaz version of this. It's like the 219 or something like that. But they made one batch and then they canceled it. They didn't even announce why they canceled it, but they announced like a week or so ago that they canceled it and that there was a few left. And if you wanted to buy it, that was your last chance. But it's the same mouse as the X6. And as far as I know, Attack Shark isn't planning on canceling this one, but I wish they would redesign the bottom because that's the wackiest thing I've ever seen. Um, Probably not a big deal on a glass pad, but cloth pad, I think it's going to get stuff stuck in there. But for the price of that, you could just get like the regular R1. I'd probably just go with that. Anybody have any other mice they want to see before I end the stream? All right. Well, I wasn't expecting to get this before I finish my best mice at 2023. So I'm gonna evaluate this real quick and see if this fits in, and I'll have to like fit it into that video. But I so far initial impressions, it may fit in that video because I'm doing 40. So and some of the ones that are like in the between 30 and 40, this would easily just from just looking at it and holding it in my hand, I can tell this is a better mouse. But I'll at least put some good time into it, and then I'll talk more about it in that video. And I may do a separate video after I do that, maybe after the New Year's. But yeah, I guess that's about it. Thanks for stopping by, and just keep following me on Twitter. I'll post more impressions on there as I use it the rest of the night. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.